Now let's return to our main story on the Israel-Gaza war, where, as I said, the World Health Organization has described the Al-Shifa hospital in northern Gaza as a death zone after a visit to the complex by a UN team. Officials spent an hour at the hospital and reported evidence of shelling and gunfire and the site of a mass grave. Well, with me now is Shehata from BBC Arabic. Saeed, if we look at what the UN are saying, what are we hearing from Israel in response to that, and what evidence have we got from both sides?
There is two different stories. Israel saying they didn't ask people to evacuate. They only get like a request from the director of the hospital. But the other side, the Palestinian side, saying no, it's Israel evacuating people. So it's not confirmed. Each side has its own story. But the main problem is, or the main crisis there is people dying. There is sign of shelling and destruction there. People, some of them moved, who can move from the hospital through the rubbles and through destruction. So it was very difficult for them. And still the situation there is not good because the injured people there on intensive care, they cannot move. So the situation there is very, very, very intense there, and they need interventions. The WHO team who managed to go for 1 hour to check there, they described the situation is they saw mass graves at the entrance of the hospital. They saw sign of shelling and destruction. They describe it as a death zone, and the WHO is international organization. So the situation is problematic and need to be sorted out.
And we're hearing of attacks on a UN school where people were sheltering, and we're also hearing from UN spokespeople saying that there is nowhere safe in Gaza for civilians. So what are people doing? Because they were told to head south, but we're hearing attacks in the south now. So what is the option for civilians in Gaza?
It doesn't look there is an option, because I saw some testimonies of children and other people from inside Gaza saying there is no safe place. Even go to the sea, there is no safe place. There is in the south. At the beginning of the war, Israel asked people to move from the north to the south in order to clear the way to its operation inside Gaza. As the Israeli says this because of to crush Hamas. But what happened is, now people ask it to move from Khan Yunis, because there are some areas in Khan Yunis where hit, and one of them is in Mukhaim Jabalia in North Gaza. There is school turned to be a shelter. Israel saying they are investigating the case, but the Palestinians saying there is in 2 different strikes 80 people died. So whenever you go north or south, and even the head of the UNRWA, Philip Lazzarini, said should be stopped. This attack should be stopped, and he calls for ceasefire. So there is calls from different places to ceasefire in order to allow humanitarian corridors and to help the injured people and to see what's happening there, because the pressure is immense on people there in Gaza.
Well, Saeed, thank you for that. That's Saeed Shehata from BBC Arabic.